Hello, my name is Jack, and here's the short version of the confusing world of acronyms that is the E-Cig world. This video is aimed at the most beginner of beginners, so if you're an E-Cig veteran, there's probably not a whole lot here for you. This should get you up to speed to the point where forum posts don't look like tax law and give you an idea of what the world of E-Cigs has to offer. First off, what is an E-Cig? An e-cig, or electronic cigarette, is any handheld device designed for the purpose and intent of vaporizing a suspended nicotine solution. If that's too complicated for you, it's anything that you can hold in your hand that uses electricity to vaporize e-liquid. The reason this definition is so damn broad is e-cigs incorporate a huge number of very odd-looking devices, with the whole vaporized e-liquid and electricity being the only things that really hold them together in this group. What is a mod? Mod being short for modification is a carryover from the pioneers of old. It used to mean taking something not meant to be an e-cig and modifying it to work as such. We've moved away from this as damn near everything on the market is now purpose-built, but the term still sticks around. A mod, in the modern sense, is essentially anything that's an e-cig that doesn't look like a cigarette, so it divides the e-cig world into cigalites, or pen types, and everything else pretty much. In the world of mods, there are three big families: the mechs, the regulated, and the egos. What is a regulated mod? A regulated mod is any type of e-cig that has internal circuitry that regulates the electricity. Common regulated mods are the MVP, the DNA20, the DNA30, and generally anything that looks like a box and has more than one button is a regulated mod. These generally have huge battery life, and people like them because they're very easy to use, they're easy to charge, and there's very little possibility of something going wrong and you horribly maiming yourself in the process. What is a mech? A mech is short for a mechanical mod, which means it's an e-cig with no circuits, only a metal tube, a button, and some threading. They have no safety features whatsoever. It's really just a metal tube that you stick insane batteries in and run the whole thing as a simple circuit. People actually like mechs because they have no safety features, which may sound insane, but once you get into them, you kind of see why. These come in all shapes and sizes, but most common is a simple metal cylinder and tend to be about as tall as a soda can and totally don't look like dicks. These things are not for beginners or those not confident in their electrical knowledge. If you're looking to getting into e-cigs, this is not where you want to start. What is an ego? Ego is technically a threading, but it's mostly used now to describe a particular style of battery. Whether or not egos are actually mods is another debate entirely, but I've included them here because they usually don't look that much like cigarettes. An ego battery is a cylindrical battery that's about the size of a larger Sharpie pen. Some of them allow you to change the voltage. These are often called ego tees or ego twists. Others do not allow for such change and are simply called egos. This is most people's first foray into vaping and was mine as well. They're dead simple and they're cheap. Now, everything that I've just described are just batteries in their containers. None of these will work without an addy to go with, which leads into the next section. What is an addy? An addy, or atomizer, is technically just a small coil of resistance wire that heats up. In the e-cig world, an atomizer or addy is usually used to describe the entire unit that holds the liquid, the wick, the actual atomizer, as well as the electrical connections to run it. In the world of atomizers, there's three big families: the cartridge or cart, and these go on cigalikes, and they are awful. They're expensive, they run out quickly, they taste awful, and they don't fit on fucking anything. In the world of real atomizers that are actually good, you have non-rebuildables and rebuildables. In the realm of non-rebuildables, the biggest section, in my opinion the best, is the clearomizer. What is a clearomizer? A clearomizer is a small tank that you can fill with e-liquid that has a wicking system and has replaceable atomizer heads. Common varieties of clearomizers include the CE4, the VV Nova, the Kangar Pro Tank, the EVOD, the iClear, and many others. They can hold anywhere between 2 to 5 milliliters of e-juice and are usually divided between top wicking and bottom wicking. The top wicking ones look like this, little wick tendrils hanging down that draw the liquid up to the atomizer at the top, and the bottom wicked ones look like this, with wick plugs that stop too much liquid from getting to the atomizer here at the bottom. The top wicking ones tend to leak less but can give more dry hits where not enough liquid is getting to the atomizer, and the bottom wicked ones usually don't dry hit but can flood and leak. It's a bit of a trade-off. These types of clearomizers are referred to as tanks. What is a rebuildable atomizer? These I'm going to go through quickly because rebuilding is a whole other can of worms, but all three of these refer to as a group as rebuildable. This means that you, personally, wrap the atomizer coils yourself and wick them yourself. An RDA is a rebuildable dripping atomizer, which means it can only hold a very small amount of liquid, and you must pull the cap off and drip liquid onto the wicks every few hits. An RTA is a rebuildable tank atomizer, where you still have to build the coils and wick yourself, but it has a tank system so you don't have to drip every few hits. These are both under the family of RBA, or rebuildable atomizers, but RBA is often meant to refer especially to RTAs, or anything with a tank, whereas RDAs is used to refer only to dripping atomizers. These are exclusively for larger regulated mods and mech mods. Smaller batteries do not have enough power to make either of these work, so if you're looking to getting into rebuilding, you're going to have to move past your ego battery. What is 510? 510 is a type of threading and socket that has been chosen to be the standard for the industry. Nearly every clearomizer, RTA, and RDA will have this threading. There are about 60 other threadings, mostly for fucking cigalites, such as 801, 801D, 905, and so on. Ego threading is larger than 510, but every ego thread has a 510 nested inside of it, so 510 devices are compatible with nearly every ego threaded thing on the market. What is e-liquid? E-liquid is nicotine suspended in propylene glycol and or vegetable glycerin. These are referred to as PG and VG, respectively. PG will give you more throat hit, which is how much it makes you feel like coughing, and VG will give you bigger clouds while slightly muting some flavors. Most liquid comes in a 50-50 mix of these two, which gives you about the best of both worlds. The nicotine content is measured by how many milligrams per milliliter a liquid has. The more nicotine a liquid has, the more throat hit it has. This ramps up very sharply as you increase nicotine content, so be careful when you first pick up some liquid. 18 milligrams per milliliter is the standard starting strength. Rapid fire stuff. An 18650 battery is a type of very large, very powerful battery that is used in box mods and mech mods. They got that name from having an 18mm diameter and a length of 65mm. Canthal is a common resistance wire used for rebuilding atomizers. Nichrome wire is another type of resistance wire. Sub-ohm is any coil built to be under 1 ohm, common for people running mechs. A Genesis or Jenny is a type of top-wicking RTA. A Kfun or Russian is a type of bottom-wicking RTA. An ohm is a measurement of electrical resistance. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. I hope you all learned something and will be quite as lost the next time you go forum hunting. If you're looking for help getting started, the community on Reddit at r_electronic cigarettes with an underscore in between is incredibly helpful and can give you a list of trusted vendors to order from.